The Japanese idol industry is a complete circus. Not me reacting to so much idols. I mean, I got you into just recently. Really good groups. Very awesome music, this group. They were on the first take recently. By Japanalysis.
Okay, so some girl posted this picture of herself at Disneyland and almost lost her job for it. Can you guess why? Well, let me give you a hint. She's an idol, and that picture made her fans go berserk.
Did someone take the picture and they think it's her boyfriend?
You may think that being an idol is just about singing, dancing, and looking cute, but they actually have to follow some insane rules, while simultaneously being careful about everyone around them. That includes fans, their agency, and even their own group members. Idols can start big drama over the smallest things, and people get mad at them for the dumbest reasons. We're talking like agencies literally suing their own idol for hanging out with a boy, God knows how many stalking incidents, some of which were caused by their own group members backstabbing them, and hell, people got mad at an idol for the way she ate cake.
That's that much? I was gonna say though, like the one thing that people sometimes like some people say like that like the idol industry is so bad, but it's like it's a Japan thing. It's not just the idol industry. It's all the celebrities, right? Kind of like they have such extreme view on drugs, right? So like you can be a famous actor, but if you were caught with like a little bit of weed, your career is destroyed. That's kind of a classic. Korra is the same, right? I mean, there was Top from Big Bang. I mean, I think that's what happened. He was caught with some drugs, and for like 10 years he was blacklisted. So it's not just the idol industry; it's really like the celebrity industry is kind of extreme, which is what I've learned a lot more. Right? It's kind of insane. I mean, I'm not saying it's better in the West or something, because in the West it's kind of like the opposite, right? Celebrities can do the most fucked up stuff and still have a massive fan base, right? You see it all the time. Like Kanye West, for example, I mean, that guy still has a massive fan base and makes a ton of money, despite, constantly praising Hitler and saying crazy stuff, right? So there has to be a middle ground, but Japan is kind of like the ultra extreme of one side of like being ultra critical of everything and having crazy rules, while let's say the US is like the complete opposite extreme of like, things are so free that someone can, brag in their song about killing people, and it's fine. It's kind of like extremes. It's really interesting though.
We'll talk about that later, but for now, what is wrong with this picture? That right there is a man, and that was all the proof people needed. They knew that was her secret boyfriend. As an idol, that's like getting caught going to the island. It was crazy that their Scooby-Doo investigation found him in her sunglasses, but what's even crazier is that was her brother. The fans didn't care about that though. They were pissed. They were saying like, you've betrayed us. I can never trust you again. Bro, she went to Disneyland with her brother. She even tried to apologize, but they wanted some birth certificate type shit, so she had to pull out the family photos. So yeah, the first reason being an idol sucks is no boys. Yeah, everyone knows this rule, but it's the one that consistently ends careers. You give a 19-year-old girl a job where she just has to look good, what do you think is gonna happen? And was Sunglasses Lady the first one to get caught? Of course not. She wasn't even the first one to get caught at Tokyo Disneyland this year. No, you see this chick, Haruno Riri, she was a massive idol, and one trip to Disneyland later, she got kicked out of her group and deleted all her socials, all because of this picture. Huh? She has the same sunglasses on, but I don't see any fellas. No, what happened was some dude who I guess was just taking pictures of random women caught her red-handed with a guy, and that was it. Her career was over. Thanks for the scoop, man whose phone has a folder called Pictures of Women I Don't Know.
It is kind of insane because, again, there's still like the paparazzi culture in the West, right? Where, celebrities' relationship are always reported on, right? And there's like secret photos of them with someone, but that doesn't get you cancelled, right? It's just kind of insane. I mean, it does make it kind of like icky to follow idol groups, even though I do like some idol groups. It's like, like I'm sure when you join, that's what it is. but that doesn't make it good, right? It's kind of fucked up. And I guess, there's some way it's okay. I think with time, some of the mentalities are changing, right? Though it's probably like still not quite there, since there's so many scandals. But it's so almost hard to understand from someone from the West, right? Like, I look at it and, I understand that like the agencies and the idols play into it, the I'm single and I'm attainable kind of thing. But, as someone from the West, it's like, sometimes you like respect different culture even if they're weird, but this is one of those things where like I just can't understand. Like, it's just really hard to understand. And it feels like such a shame, right? Because you're a fan of someone and their career is over because of stuff like that, I mean, one of the famous one in anime is Aya Edano, right? The singer and voice actress of Haruhi. And it's often touted as maybe one of the reasons that there wasn't more Haruhi, because she got cancelled because she was, doing stuff with her bandmates. It's just kind of weird. I mean, not kind of. It's just sad, Shindo Amane from Bandoli for DJ Assault Lily, Love Live. 21-year-old had 2 scandals where she even got death threat. The first one, she was only 16. Yeah. And again, in the West, I'm sure there's still like a little part of fan base of big celebrities that are like that, we just absolutely hate when they're with someone. But obviously in Japan and in Korea and maybe in China, idol groups really have like this culture like that, and not just idol groups, right? We're talking about idols, but in Japan it's also like regular like artists to an extent. Not all of them, I think bands maybe have like less of a scrutiny, but it's still like one of those things where like it's kind of cooked, especially when it wasn't even our fault. Morphonica was getting into the game before Rice was. Rice already existed for 2 years. Yeah, I mean, it's a culture thing. It's hard to comment because again, I just don't understand it one bit. It's so foreign that I can't even relate. Yeah.
Also, can we pause for a second to look at this? No, I mean her shirt.
Just a failure. It cannot be determined. Keep trying. Don't give up.
These apologies and strange punishments are actually not uncommon. Like, there's the case of this other idol, Momoka, who accidentally uploaded a selfie with her boyfriend, and her fans went fucking biblical on her. Oh, you like posting selfies, huh? Well, why don't you post one every night for the next 365 days? If these pictures arrived at my house in a manila envelope, I would assume that this woman was kidnapped. What I don't get is, how do these pictures prove that she's alone every night? Like, isn't her boyfriend just behind the camera taking them? But let's be real for a second. Why is an idol getting a boyfriend such a big deal? Well, some fans have a fantasy of idols being innocent and available, and the agencies are happy to sell it to them. This creates a cycle where the agencies try to harness more and more control of the idols' lives, and because there's so many young women who want to be idols, they'll allow the agencies to have that control just for a chance to be in the spotlight. And if you look back in history, similar things used to happen in the West. In 1964, John Lennon was asked by his manager to keep his new marriage a secret, and even more recently this happened with boy bands like NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. But eventually, in the West, we got over this. We and the agencies realized that it doesn't really harm their bottom line to just give.
Or is it more that in the West, idols have kind of died, right? Like it became more artists and musicians and celebrities. Is that the difference, maybe? Because, as far as I know, in the West right now, there's no idol group in the same way that there is in Japan and Korea and all that, right? Maybe that's what it is. Just the type of artist has really changed. Yeah, interesting.
The idols more freedom. So did Japanese agencies learn the lesson? Of course not. Now they literally write no boyfriends in the contract, as if that'll solve the problem. Believe me, that shit is legally binding.
How is it legal though? I don't understand. How can it be legal? I thought it was an unwritten rule kind of thing. I didn't know it could be legal to have that in a contract.
2015, a 17-year-old idol was sued by her own agency for spending some extracurricular time with a fan, and the judge threw the book at her. He sentenced her to 650,000 yen in damages. Yeah, Japan made a 17-year-old pay like $5,000 for having a boyfriend. And how do you think the agency found out? Her own friend, a member of her idol group, snitched on her. There is no loyalty in this industry. That's reason number 2. But before we continue, I'm super excited to announce that this video is sponsored by Temu, who is doing a massive Black Friday deal right now. A $20 coupon that both new and existing users can use. Just download the app and use my code DZF9486 and they drop a $20 coupon on your account. The craziest part is they let you get $20 off.
I have never used Temu, but I know it's kind of known for like cheap stuff.
Orders like $20.01, and they're completely fine with you doing that. I've honestly been using Temu for years, and some of the best items I've bought there have included this extremely satisfying fidget cube that I'm always playing with while I'm editing. This case that I put my audio equipment in when I travel that was only like $30, whereas other retailers had it for over 100. Recently, I got this floor chair that's extremely comfortable for just chilling, watching TV on your carpet. I got a binder, deck box, and playmat for playing card games. Even just random stuff like a 20-foot HDMI cable for way cheaper than they sell it elsewhere. Even if you're an existing Temu user, you can still get a $20 coupon, though it does have a slightly higher spending limit. So what are you waiting for? Download Temu, enter my code, grab your $20, stack it with other Black Friday deals if you want it, save tons of money. It's only valid for 24 hours after you claim it, so don't sleep on it. So idols always look like they have so much fun together, but you think they're actually friends in a cutthroat industry like this? Come on, buddy, were you born yesterday?
It is no surprise. I mean, many idol groups, they have like so many members, right? I mean, recently I got really into Just Juice, and the group has been going on for like over 10 years, I think. And I think they've probably gone through like dozens of different girls, right? Like the current girl lineup is, you know, like the 12th generation or something. And then you have AKB, who have like had hundreds of girls, right? It is a like people churning machine. So yeah, it's no surprise that not everybody is fun, right? Even in bands which have like 3, 4, 5 members, you know, most of the time not everybody is that fun. So it's not surprising, yeah. It's not surprising.
These women are rivals. Like, take AKB48, one of the most famous idol groups that fluctuated between 60 and 100 members. These girls are so desperate to stand out, they'll do anything. And the agencies encourage this Hunger Games type shit by hosting elections, where the most popular idols get to be front and center. And guess where the fans get the ballots to vote? Yep, you better pull out your wallets and buy some CDs, boys, because your Oshi needs your support now more than ever.
There's an anime called I'll Die If My Oshi Goes to Budokan, which is literally about that. It's this woman who's a fan of like the least popular idol of a small group. And so she keeps working her ass off to constantly buy CDs to vote for and like the fan vote and stuff like that. It's a comedy show. It's pretty good. But I guess, yeah, this is the real culture of it, which is kind of insane. I mean, yeah.
Although, if you do buy like 600 CDs to support your girl and you have to go and dump them in the mountains, at least don't put your name on them, man. Come on. And it's not just CD contests. Behind the scenes, agencies are known to stoke the flames even harder. Some groups have rules banning members from exchanging contact information with each other to prevent them from forming solidarity. Agencies pit members against each other to drive up sales. Most of the time, they can keep the drama out of the public eye, but you know things are bad when an idol shows up late to her own show in pajamas and does this. Flipping your coworkers the bird in front of a live audience is one of the most based resignations I've ever seen. And it turns out she was completely in the right because...
And I mean, she should join the punk band after that. She's got the...
As her quote-unquote friends were acting like middle school bullies. I mean, they even gave her the wrong date and time for the show on purpose so she wouldn't show up. Okay, so you have a hostile work environment, but at least you have thousands of fans supporting you, right?
I mean, it's more like, you know, ultra close police looking at if you're doing anything wrong. I don't know. Frankly, it's everywhere. Like, recently I was like listening to a lot of Michael Jackson, and then I was reading like about him, and I didn't actually know that he had like, some people wrote it as like he was literally like, since he was a kid, almost bred for like being like the ultimate artist, and he had like crazy controlling and extreme managers, and his parents too were like ultra violent with him to make him the most perfect performer possible and stuff like that. And he became the greatest performer of all time, right? But even someone like him, of that level of fame and everything, went through something like this. And I feel like there's stories like this all the time. Like you look at stuff like like some of the K-pop group, there's often stories of like, some girl collapsing on stage, and often the girl keep going because, they were told to if that happens or something. There's so much stuff like this. I mean, it sometimes makes you feel like, maybe I shouldn't be into this, I shouldn't be into this type of music or something. It's all fucked up, but, there's darkness that's everywhere and everything, in every form of media and celebrity. I don't know. It is kind of hard to enjoy anything if you think about that all the time.
Well, that brings me to reason number 3. Idol fans can have some ridiculous expectations. Most Idol fans, as you'll see here, are fully grown adults. So now that we're on the same page, I'll just give you an idea of how demanding these fans are. Take Saito Nagisa, an idol known for her extreme purity. When she held hands with a guy on a dating show and said, "This is my first time holding hands with someone other than my dad," her fans flew off the handle. Well, what the hell were they mad about? Because she got with a guy, maybe? Well, not quite. It's actually because she forgot about thousands of hands she shook at the handshake events. Yeah, buddy, I'm sorry, but she's trying to forget your hand. So basically, if you, as an idol, are not perfect 100% of the time, the fans are going to eat you alive. Take Shirai Shimai, a very famous idol from the group Nogizaka 46. Some of you might even recognize her, actually. In 2020, her and fellow group member Ikuta had a cake eating stream to celebrate her graduation from the group. Now, how could people get mad at two girls eating cake? Well, during the stream, they went to break, and production cut the audio, but forgot to cut the video. And as a result, her fans were absolutely disgusted to see her having her cake taken away rather than eating it. I didn't think I needed to say this, but you were really expecting this 100-pound model to eat a massive slice of cake? But that wasn't even what the fans were really pissed at. This is what they really had a problem with. The way she slammed the cake down screams bad manners, and as she gets older, cute won't cover her lack of class, crap upbringing. It's not just her bad upbringing, she reeks of a delinquent from the countryside. That pure image always felt cooked up. All Jap.
I want to laugh, but it's fucking sad. I mean, again, all celebrities go through stuff like this, right? All celebrities have like ton of people who like literally comment about every single thing they do. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like, it's like, I'm not like this, and I can't imagine being like this. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say.
Japanese idols are like that. They sell the pure girl act while sleeping around. Bro, she transferred cake from one plate to another. And after a long investigation, fans found that this wasn't even the first time she'd done something bad. In 2018, she walked by a cameraman without sufficiently greeting him. Idols just cannot catch a break, man. One of my favorite things to do is to read the comments on this ex-Idols blog.
Okay, actually, I was trying to think about it because I don't like saying I don't understand one bit. I think I do. Obviously, Japan is like, a lot of people are like, as we said, workforce people, probably salarymen, people who are lonely. There's the birth rate epidemic. People who are like mostly, just working, not really having any social life. So they became fan of, this grander than life people who seem so perfect. And they put all of their expectation onto them. So I guess that's why they're like this. It's, it's kind of a feedback loop, Like for them, it's a way to vent, Like they themselves are kind of shitty and not having a great life. So they look at those idols who project perfection and they actually expect perfection from them because, I don't know, that's what they want to see. And then, like they can't help but vent on those idols for like not being perfect. Like there's a feedback loop there somewhere. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a lot of it, but there's probably some of that. How do girls still want to get into the industry while fully knowing this is what happens? I mean, fame and money, Like, a story as old as time, right? I mean, the appeal is there. The appeal is there no matter what. It's just there, yeah.
To see how she apparently fails at the most basic tasks. On days my kids go to dance, we can't eat at the same time, so I pack them bento boxes.
Nice bento, but a plastic Tupperware container? Seriously?
You're too lazy to wash a proper bento box, huh? I made chicken curry and a broccoli salad for my kids. Didn't you make them curry last week too? You make curry way too often.
Okay, but like this is social media though, right? Like, there's always people with this kind of take on anything.
I went strawberry picking with my kids. The fresh strawberries were delicious, and we ate them with condensed milk. You what? Condensed milk? If you really like strawberries, you eat them fresh, not with condensed milk. I'm saying all this stuff about Idol fans, but I don't want you to get the impression that I'm only talking about the guys. This is what happened when some girl missed her chance to attend a hug event with her favorite idols.
I love the random commentator, like this is a world star clip.
In the end, she actually got arrested. So it can be fun to make jokes about crazy fans, but to the idols, it's not a joke. And that's because of reason number 4. Being an idol is way more dangerous than you think. You know those fans who found Izumi's brother in her sunglasses? Well, they were actually inspired by a real case that happened a few years ago, where a 26-year-old unemployed guy realized he could track down his favorite idol just through her social media posts. It wasn't easy, but he managed to identify her nearest station by the reflection in her eye. Then he used details like the placement of curtains and direction of lighting to determine which floor she lived on. After that, he went and knocked on every door on that floor until she came to the door, and when she answered, he tried to kiss her. Yeah, somehow this guy could find a girl's house from the reflection in her eye, but he couldn't find a job. He deservedly got put away for 2 years, but imagine what this guy could have done for the intelligence agencies if he had ever used his powers for good. Creepy stalkers are bad enough, but idols are also frequent targets of random violence for no reason at all. On May 25th, 2014, 2 AKB48 idols at a handshake event were attacked by some guy who brought a handsaw. Luckily, the idols only sustained minor injuries. In 2018, an idol was assaulted by 2 fans who entered her apartment building, and instead of supporting their idol who was attacked, her agency made her make an apology for causing trouble after she spoke out about it. And how did the assailants get her address? Well, other members of the group sold her out. In the end, after massive fan backlash that included a 53,000 signature petition, the manager was dismissed. But obviously things had gone way past the point of repair, so the victim, along with 2 other members, ended up leaving the group. By now, some viewers out there are protesting, saying, yeah, being an idol is hard, but at least it's very lucrative. Well,
I mean, again, I think what I was talking about earlier, and what this reminds me of is the Yakuza game. There are games about like violence, sex, drugs, killings, all that, right? And they use some real actors for some of the characters. And there's been like already a couple times where some of them have been replaced or removed because of like something simple, right? There was an actor in the first Judgment game who played the one of the big antagonists, who basically I think he was caught with like some weed or something, and he was disgraced, completely blacklisted from the Japanese industry, and they basically replaced him in the game too. There was another one, I think. I forget who it was, but yeah, there was another one in Yakuza where they had to replace him. I think it was the cop. Yeah, it was Tanimura, I think, in Yakuza 4, same thing. I mean, some like super small thing, but Western standard, right? And that was enough for them to like basically get another actor, re-record everything, and completely remove the guy. And we're talking about something so small, right? I mean, like a personal choice like drugs, right? So yeah, it's in any country it's probably not good to be a celebrity. Outside of the money, there's so much bullshit that comes with it. But in Japan and this country where like there's like an even more extreme culture of like every little choice that you made is scrutinized like that. Yeah, it is crazy that there's still people who want to do it. Yeah.
Surprisingly, no. That brings me to reason number 5. Idols don't get paid shit. Yeah, I'm sure your favorite idol lives comfortably, but that's because she's in the 1%, the ones that are on TV and magazines and eating cake wrong. The other 99% are what Japan calls underground idols, which are basically just indie idols that get that name because they perform in tiny venues underground. The worst part is most of these girls don't even get a salary, like at all. I know it's a meme, but they are literally paid in exposure. They can get like commission if they sell merch like keychains or if they take pictures with fans, but most of that commission gets eaten up when the agency and venue take their cut anyways. If an idol earns 100,000 yen per month, that's considered good. Idols accept these conditions because they're grateful for the opportunity to chase their dreams.
And I guess it makes kind of sense too, because like if you have a group of like 5-6 girls, right, and you're performing in a venue with like max 50 people, it just makes sense you're not gonna make much money. I mean, you have to pay for the venue, you have to pay for whatever manager organized this, and a bunch of other stuff. So it just makes sense, yeah. I mean, just it's too underground, yeah.
For example, in 2015, a group of 4 girls got amazing news. They had passed their audition and were chosen to be in a brand new idol group called Nijiro Fanfare. Unfortunately, this was actually the worst thing that ever happened to them. Day 1, each of them were forced to pay 300,000 yen upfront for lessons and travel. The agency promised that after their debut, they would get a monthly salary of... Wait, is this missing a zero? $250 a month? Anyway, that might as well have been $250 million a month because in the end, the agency never even paid them at all. One of the girls was even commuting to Tokyo on the bus for 9 hours just to perform and make zero money. 2 years later, these girls sued their agency and managed to settle out of court for a satisfactory amount. Some other idols who leaked their contracts showed clauses like, you can't quit for 1 to 3 years, or you need to pay a penalty if you're late or if you leave early. There are real cases where idols were making basically nothing, tried to get out of the contract, and the agency was like, girl, you have to pay us 1 million yen. The other weird thing...
Japanese law is pretty fucked up. I mean, I think we used to hear about it with like AV stuff, right? If you try to get out of a contract, you have to pay a massive amount or something. Like, just fucked up laws of this.
About the industry is that many idols who are on stage late at night taking pictures with adults are actually underage. Under the letter of Japanese law, having minors work late at night is illegal, but they get around that with this one weird trick. A loophole that was created in the 80s specifically for a roller skate boy band that says if you're performing, it's actually totally fine if you're underage. So you're tolerating all this chaos in an industry where the average idol career is actually like 4 years long. You sink money, passion, years of your life into it, and right when you start to get some attention, you're too old and it's time to graduate. Honestly, after learning so much about idols for this video, I came to appreciate how hard their job really is. They grind long hours chasing their dreams while simultaneously working a part-time job just to stay afloat. Meanwhile, everything could be over in the blink of an eye if a random selfie they take has a guy's elbow in it. The real issue is the agencies. They are the ones who write...
I mean, did anyone think it was that easy? I mean, there's like millions of cute girls. So like, you know, there's the people that are gonna say like, it's not that hard, you just need to be cute. But there's the 3 million of cute girls. And then on top of it, you know, you need to like have talent for singing, dancing. You need to like, you know, do crazy dedication early on of like making no money and still trying to make it. I don't know why anybody would think it's easy. Like anything in the entertainment industry. Why would you even think it's easy? Like, sure, you could say that, you know, someone's regular, like, shitty job is probably harder, right? Someone out there in the cold, you know, I don't know, cutting tree all day. You know, maybe you could say it's harder, but come on. There's no way this is easy. I mean, I don't think this was a revelation. Yeah.
The predatory contracts. They're the ones who exploit the idols and fans for as much as they can, and they're the ones who toss the performers aside the second anything goes wrong. As much as I joke about the weird fans, most of them are just normal guys who show up to buy CDs and support their favorite girl. It's a small, vocal minority that ruin the optics for everyone. If you care about idols, just chill out. Let them have their private lives. Keep it professional, and if they do have some scandal, especially if they have some scandal, support them. Speaking of scandals, another idol just had her career ended for this completely innocuous picture she posted literally as I was editing this video. I couldn't fit it in, so I put it and some other cases from my research that can't go on YouTube in part 2, which is completely free to watch. It's on Patreon. You don't need to sign in or pay any money, though. It's free. Check it out in the description. I know a lot of people were disappointed that there was no free part 2 last time, so...
I'm sure, like, if someone was motivated, they could do, like, a 10-hour video about, you know, every major scandal like this that happened. But yeah, I don't really know what to say. It's one of those things where, like, you know, it almost makes you think, like, I shouldn't support any of those groups and stuff like that. Hello, Adrian. Hello, hello. But, you know, if you look at it, it's like that everywhere, right? I mean, I shouldn't be into, I don't know, anime because all of them are overworked and underpaid. I shouldn't be into idols because of the culture. I shouldn't be into bands because a lot of them end up turning out to be terrible people. I shouldn't be into any celebrity because a lot of them end up being terrible people. I shouldn't be into video games because, I don't know, microtransaction and, you know, people being overpaid and overworked, underpaid and overworked. I don't know, like, it's not really any kind of excuse or anything, but like everything is fucked everywhere, right? And there's some good apples amongst all the bad apples, right? But that's just kind of the way it is, you know? I don't know what to say, yeah. It's, you know, I do really enjoy idols, even though I don't enjoy idols as much as I like bands, right? Bands is still my main thing in music, but I've really come to enjoy some groups, you know, like G-Friend and Dreamcatcher for like Korea, and for Japan, you know, Just Juice and Sakurazaka 46 have been pretty epic, Morning Musume too. So, I don't know, obviously, like, as you said, the thing is that, you know, like anything, right, all the story are fucked up, and what's fucked up about them is that only like maybe this was like 1% of the fan base causing these people to go through this drama when the rest of the fan base was maybe chill about it. I guess that's what I'm just saying, yeah. My stream setup is different, yeah. It's a long story, but I messed up, you know. I'll tell my whole story tomorrow. So tune into the Sunday stream if you want my terrible story. So yeah, not much I can say about this except again, you know, I can't really understand all this madness. Like, if I'm a fan of an artist, an idol that does music, dancing and stuff like that, and they have a boyfriend, the last thing I want is for them to get cancelled for it, and then basically not dance and sing and do the music that I like anymore. You know what I mean? Which makes me think that, like, all these people that do stuff like this, you can't call them fan. They were just like horny people that, you know, like the fantasy of this girl is pure and maybe I have a chance with her. They were not actually there for like the artists themselves. That's kind of how I look at it. I mean, maybe it's extreme, but yeah. I don't think they deserve the word fan. No? Maybe it's just me. Great video.